Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory to God.
So finally we have, it's a long story. It was a long project. We didn't know what to do with it originally. So every church has to have its own altar. That's how it's properly done. They have Mass, they have Divine Liturgy, they have services. Church has to have its altar, unless something of the extreme circumstances, something or not ready, then temporarily for some period of time, church has to find a way around it, and that's why we have such a thing called antimancia, which is a cloth. Some of you, those that help set up, already know how it looks like. It's a square or rectangle cloth with holy relics sewn into the fabrics, and this way Divine Liturgy can be served, offered anywhere. Especially it's oftentimes used during persecutions when Christians are persecuted and we can't have Mass, Divine Liturgy out in the open when Christians are hiding. That's what our people were doing back in Ukraine until 88, 89. It was the end of Soviet Union, so thank God we are not having that here today, and over there hopefully we won't have it back there again in Ukraine, but here in the United States, because of the freedoms that her ancestors fought for, we are able to even, look, we can have services, who would have thought, right? But Christ Lutheran Church have welcomed us despite so many troubles that we already had. And we are having services, we've had it since March here, since late March. And now finally, for 3 years, we have been as a mission, this is our third location, and finally we have our own altar. So sometimes it takes first, chicken or egg. Sometimes church comes first, then the altar. Sometimes altar is years later obtained after church is built. So finally we have our own altar. A short history. It's coming from St. Peter and Paul's Byzantine Catholic Church in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which was closed. I'm not familiar when exactly, I can find it out, but I'm thinking about 15. Father Bob would know definitely, he would come and and tell you more in detail. Meanwhile, after that church was closed, thank God, St. Thomas Aquinas Church in Rahway, New Jersey, where pastor is Protestant cellist Father James Hare. They were keeping this altar for years in their hall, just as in the storage, for it not to end up like so many altars and church, different place of worship and items of worship are ending up sold as old furniture at rummage sale. So thank God they preserved this altar. Yes, it was disassembled in different parts to keep it intact so it doesn't get destroyed even worse, like so many things do. So then, with the help, I asked their permission to donate it for future, maybe we might need it later on. So, and they did it in late 2019. But we had to figure out how to ship it over here. And that's how Knights of Columbus over at St. Anne's in Newport Richey helped us out. the so the Grand Knight, Larry Bellagiri, some of you familiar, he would come with me a couple times here when we had the services over at St. Albans Church, and then at that dinner place. I forgot, Frank is here, he knows, Frank and Marie, they know, they arranged it for us last year at St. Nicholas to have dinner over there and Divine Liturgy. So he arranged for us to move it, to ship it over here, and then finally, Raúl over here and his family, Raúl Fernández, and they did it, they were working. It was a long project, how to make it work, how to make it look even better than it was originally. So, to assemble it back again, make a base, make a top, make
Match the stand.
yes, match the stand. So it's not as easy as it might seem to do all the crazy calculations, measurements. God, it's hard. So, and thanks to you, to your contributions, this altar was made. Thank God, we finally can worship properly. And some churches even dream to have that, but we are ahead of them in some way because we have finally our own altar. To your servants, all who have contributed to make this altar, grant, O Lord, many blessed years.
God grant them many years.
God grant them many years.
God grant them many blessed years. In health and happiness. In health and happiness. God grant them many